Hey folks, everything new under the sun. This is going to be an unbox and review of the Nesco coffee roaster, and I'm going to tell you why this is pretty much the best and easiest way to roast coffee beans. And I've had a Baymore 1 pound roaster before myself, and I've roasted on cast iron, all sorts of things. So here's the unbox, and I'll give you my review of it once we get it tested. So it looks very much like the SR, I think 300, SR 500, but it's cheaper. I got this from Wayfair for about $123 plus tax. It's by far the cheapest automated roaster that I've ever seen. Most other roasters start at 300, 400, 500, even more than that, and they're a lot more manual as well. This is super nice. It's got 3 buttons: dark, medium, and cool down. You can press cool down at any time if it's at the crack that you want or at the roast level that you want. But otherwise, it's pretty basic to use. You put your beans in, you measure them out, and you press the medium or the dark. And like I say, if you want to cut it off early, you can do that. The manual, briefly, is very simple. It seems like it's translated. It comes with a parts list, comes with the how-to, what to do, and then it comes with a roasting tips page, which tells you about first and second crack and all that kind of stuff, which most of you should know already. Here's some close-ups of the buttons. Very, very simple to use. It's a sturdy little unit, so you have to measure exactly 4 ounces. If you do more than this, you get a lot of beans flowing up over into the top um, chaff collector, and you'll see that in the upcoming video slash pictures. I went to using a finer measurement tool in the next roast here. I was just using a really cheap one, and I think I had a few more beans than 4 ounces. So get your measurement right. That's the key part, and then this will do a medium and a dark roast exactly as needed. Now the manual says each mode, medium and dark, are both 20-minute timer modes. I'm not sure what the difference is. Maybe the dark mode increases the wattage or the heat, I assume, because the length of time between doing a medium and a dark seems to be no different to me. So that was interesting. One of the things that you get on the SR, I believe it is 500, the bigger brother of these Nesco units, is that you get a fan control as just one option, along with the temperature control, I believe, a high-low temperature control. But the thing about it is, you can see here the beans are hardly moving. They are moving, but very hardly. It would be nice if there was a bit more airflow, but as they start to roast, they actually do pick up and start bouncing. And because the collar is designed for a specific amount of beans, if you have any more beans than 4 ounces exactly, all the beans will, or a lot of the beans will skip over into the chaff collector. So that's one thing. So here's a look at it when all the buttons are blue. That means it's ready to go. They're flashing blue. If you click one, it turns red. It'll do its 20-minute timer and go into cooldown mode automatically for either the medium or the dark. So now we're just going to talk through what I found with this. So I have had a Baymore 1600 before. It did a pound of coffee, which is a fair amount. This one, like I say, it only does about 4 ounces of green beans. That's all you can put into it. It's enough for probably a day and a half, 2 days of coffee, depending on how much and how often you drink. But we use a fresh press, and that should be good enough for that. It's nice to have a little handle on the top because this whole unit gets very, very hot. The metal gets hot, everything gets hot, and it does put off smoke. So if you're doing it inside, you will need to open some windows. I like that it has, here's a look at the inside, about 11 minutes in or so. You can see them getting brown. They're moving a bit faster. As they get lighter, they move a bit faster, but not a ton of airflow. It would be nice to have an airflow dial like you have on the bigger brother of this unit, but it's very nice. It's kind of nice to have a big handle on the inside of this. It makes it look like a big coffee mug. So that's a neat feature of it. Obviously, it helps you dump out the beans as well once they're done. Overall, I think the unit for the price is a no-brainer. Like I say, you cannot find another roaster for under, say, $300. And even the bigger brothers of this, which are $300, $400, $500, they don't do a lot more, if any more, than this roasts in a batch. What's interesting about this, however, is I've roasted with cast iron, I've roasted with popcorn makers. I find that the popcorn maker that we have actually roasts it in about 6 or 7 minutes versus a 20-minute length of time for this particular unit on either medium or dark. So it takes quite a long time. So you're not going to be roasting 1 pound bags for your friends really easily because it takes 20 minutes for a quarter pound. So you'd be into an hour and a half before you got a pound worth of coffee out of this. Now, I got first crack at about the 15-minute mark. My timing wasn't perfect, but I could certainly hear it doing first crack. Now, the first time I did it, I put too many beans in, and it never really got to second crack, which is where I like it to be, kind of just starting second crack. And so the beans were a lot lighter, lighter roast than I preferred. But as soon as I put in the correct 4 ounce amount, then it worked very well. The side, like I said, I got it from Wayfair. It shipped in about 2 weeks. And again, I've never seen an automatic roaster for cheaper. This is the by far the best, cheapest, best for your money roaster. And it's really a set and forget. Now, you're not supposed to do it. The instructions say don't stop it or don't go away from it when it's roasting. So the cool down roast or cool down starts automatically there, as I was saying. You can see the green, the medium button is blue right now. Not green, it's blue. And that means it's cooling down. So it cools down for 2 minutes. Now here, while it's going, it's not that loud, but you can see the buttons shaking. They're just plastic buttons. And they're just kind of rattling at the base. So, I mean, you get what you pay for it at about $123 Canadian. The buttons are going to rattle. But overall, it did look good. And I did find when I put the right measurement in, it was mostly chaff in the chaff collector. Here's a look at, again, the first roast where I put too many beans in, and there was just a ton of beans up in the chaff collector. Again, as soon as I went down to a proper measurement and actually weighed it accurately, that problem went away. So accurate measurements, and then this thing goes very well. And of course, you got to clean out the chaff afterwards. The box isn't very large. There's not a lot of things that come with it, except you do get a little coffee scoop. So 4 scoops equals 4 ounces exactly, I found, with my green beans. I'm roasting Honduras Marcala beans here. Putting it into a colander so that I can kind of shake it out. You can see the inside there. It's effectively just a glorified popcorn machine for sure, except that it has a nice little timer on it. So I'm dumping all the beans back in there. I'm going to go outside and blow the chaff out of it. But it worked. It works just like its big brother, I think the SR300 and 500. And here's a look at the beans outside, and so you can kind of see how much chaff is left in them, what the crack looks like, etc. Here's a darker roast I did. A look at it. You can see that it obviously looks darker than the prior roast. I did this inside, so I had to shut the fire alarm off a few times. If you can do it outside, definitely do it outside. You can see the beans. They look a little bit more roasted, which is obviously what we wanted, and much better than the first batch because I had too many beans in there anyways. So now it's looking real nice. And here I give an example of the medium roast versus what they call the dark roast. And of course the medium roast is on the right side, the dark roast is on the left side. And so it's pretty obvious the difference there, and a nice difference. In terms of the quality of the roast, it's not incredibly even. I wish there was an air control so you can get a better turning of the beans while it's roasting. But it doesn't do a bad job. And once it does once they do start cooking, the beans do start flying a bit more. So you can see, again, the difference in the lighter side on the right, the medium roast, and the darker ones. The next thing I did was I took it outside and started roasting outside, and it a lot better in terms of smoke, etc., not setting off the fire alarms. So I'm dumping the cool beans into some coffee bags. I had a company called Fussy Beans Fair Trade Organic coffee, and so I used to sell bags of beans using my Baymore 1600. So that was fun for a while. So now I just do it for personal use and for friends and family. So here it is outside. I don't know if you saw it, but when I was roasting the first batch, there was smoke coming off. Not a ton, but there is some smoke come up, but not as bad, because it is at a bit of a lighter roast. Now, what you could do is, if you wanted a darker roast, yeah, you could go in under the 4 ounce mark, and then those beans would obviously roast a little bit darker, even more. So if you kind of play with their numbers and how much they want you to roast, you can get darker roast. You're just going to be roasting fewer beans at a time. So, final thoughts on this. It's a great little automatic roaster. It's a push button. Anybody can use this, and it's purpose built. It works much nicer and much easier than a popcorn maker, although it takes about double the time of the popcorn maker. But I guess maybe the slower roast is better in some cases. It is definitely by far, for the price, the best roaster you can get out there. And because it does have a cool down button, you can always stop the roast anytime you want. So you can get, if you want to stop it a little sooner than that 20-minute mark, you certainly go ahead and do that. So if you want to control the medium roast, hit the dark button, and you can monitor it. And at the right time, you can click that cool down button. And that's what a popcorn machine, for example, doesn't have, that cool down option where it turns off the heating elements and just blows cool air through it, which is what you need to stop the roasting of the beans. So all in all, I give this 2 thumbs up, 5 stars. Again, I got it off Wayfair.ca. Shipped out of the United States, although of course, it is Chinese made. But yeah, it has pre-programmed options, fully automatic. You can, if this is outside, you can effectively walk away for it for 20 minutes, and it'll roast your beans. And what more to say? Yeah, it's a great little unit, and it just works. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions about this unit, and we'll see you guys in the next video.